My name's Ioan Hefin and I'm playing the part of David. When you've got a popular story, I think a lot of it depends on where the audience are at that moment in time, and I don't mean the auditorium, I mean the things having an impact on their lives. Sadly, perhaps there's a bit of a resurgence with Paratowch at the moment because we are living through times that, for the first time in 30 years, echo the sentiments of the 80s a little bit. So there is a resonance, there is a connection, there's an empathy there that we can perhaps understand because of the current sort of climate that we're living in as well.
Yeah,
so as far as the audience, I think it is that sense of having something that's human, it's connected, it's something that we can relate to, it's something that gives us a little bit of that perspective again, and also in that sense a bit of hope, because if we are in a cyclic sort of nature, then there is that opportunity to emerge from that again and have those stories of survival and camaraderie and community and those essential components that we need at any sort of stressful or demanding times in our lives. I really think the casting for this is fantastic. We're in early stages of rehearsal, but the characters are so well defined. Everyone has really sort of slotted into their characters in such a wonderful way. And if we get that connection right, that's something that the audience can enjoy as well. If we get that spirit, the banter and everything else that's going on between the characters on stage, then it's going to be a great night for the audience. Every now and again you land with a casting or with a character that you think, I can bring a lot of myself to this, and that sort of sense of having lived through it personally brings a different joy to the research of an actor. So when you've got that synergy between your own personal experiences and what you're trying to depict on the page, it's very powerful and it's very cathartic, and it's very I wouldn't say easier, because it's probably harder, because you have to put that in the context of performance as well, but you've already got such a great place to start from. And for me, this is an absolute privilege to be able to play David in this production. Is something that I would have dreamt of at the beginning of my career, at this point of my career. Theatre always has the role. I mean, if you're going back to sort of Greek theatre and even the sort of prior to that in any capacity of being a documentation, an illustration, a passing on of a different perspective. And it's even more important now in the world that we live in, of having that sort of documentation and that ability to transfer a story that isn't in the domain of the news channels, that have editorial capacity over what they present to us. In that sense, I think it's really important that we keep that going, whether it's in popular theatre, in classical theatre, or in any genre within that, that we have the ability to reflect on the society we live in, and to pass a comment on that. That is something that may lead to a different connection to the audience that they can't get in any other spectre or any other sort of outlet. If you're familiar with Paratowch, if you know what the story is, you're going to have a very personal take on it that hopefully you can connect to in a different way. So if you've been to see other productions, there's an ensemble in this that has a different ownership of it, which is something incredible and unique to this production. If you've never seen Paratowch before, then what have you got to lose?